There are so many great items with MusicFirst Elementary, from the creative tools to the spiraled curriculum to Yumu. Yumu is the part of MusicFirst Elementary where your students can log in and access customized lessons that you created for them, the creative tools, and so much more. With MusicFirst Elementary, you can teach directly from the curriculum, or you can customize the lessons for your curriculum needs. Or, in the case of your older elementary students around grade 2 and above, you can create student logins, no email addresses or personal information needed, for them to use MusicFirst Elementary in your classroom or at home when they visit Yumu. Let's look at how we can create student groups, student logins, assign work, how you can customize the assignments to teach the various learning needs of your students, create your own customized library of content, and even how to create a login for a sub when you might be away from the classroom. On the MusicFirst Elementary homepage, you will find a PDF file titled My Workspace, Setting Up Students, and Yumu. This guide will also assist you with the setup process that is being covered here in the video. To set up student logins, first click on the My Workspace and scroll over to My Student Groups. This is where you can provide access to Yumu for your students and provide your own MusicFirst Elementary content for your students through assignments. Let's create a new group. Click on Plus Create Group. Some school districts and schools use roster services such as ClassLink or Google Classroom to manage their school rosters. If so, your administrator will have provided information to the MusicFirst Elementary team so they can integrate with these rostering programs, and there will be an quote import class from roster quote button here. However, we are creating a group from scratch, so name the student group. I will name this Test Group MusicFirst Elementary 1. Then select a grade. You have a few options from individual grade levels to across grade levels. Grades K and 1 do not have access to the creative tools when in Yumu. Grades 2 through 5 and across grades, where you have a class of mixed grade levels, will have access to the creative tools UStudio, QuickBeats, and Music Notepad when in Yumu. I will put this test group in 3rd grade. I can also change the grade level later on in my student groups. Click Plus Create a new student group. A new screen comes up with a few tabs. We will click on the Add Students tab to add students to this group. There are 2 ways to add students. You can 1. Manually add students, or 2. Select students that have already been added to your existing student groups. Since these are new students that I am adding, I will click on number 1. You can directly type into the grid. However, if you have a list that was given to you in Word, Excel, Google Docs, Google Sheets, etc., then you can copy and paste. There is also a help video on the right-hand side of the page to help you with this. The buttons down here give you the option to swap the first and last names as well as add a row. Click Add Students. This might take a few seconds. You will now be taken to the View Students tab. Here you can view their login details or download a login letter for them that includes their login details. You can download individual letters here or all letters in one PDF file here. You can also view their Yumu activity. Here is an example of one of my students' recent activities. Now, click on the Spreadsheet button to access a list of your students' usernames, passwords, and usage stats for all students in this group. This is helpful for you as the teacher to see all of their activity and progress in one place. Let's assign some content to our test group. From within the curriculum itself, you can click on the Assign button, find your group, click on it, and click Save Changes. This is also wonderful for when you are assigning the same content to different classes. For example, if you have multiple 3rd grade classes, you can check on all of them and not have to go through the process multiple times. You can also create a new student group here as well. From within the student group page, click on the Assignments tab and then either the Plus Add One of My Lessons or Plus Add One of My Units buttons. To learn how to create lessons and units, please visit the MusicFirst Elementary Customizing Lessons and Units video. If you want to see how this assignment will appear in your student's Yumu, click here and it will open a new tab and show you. Now, let's use My Workspace to store and create your own library of content. Let's begin with resources. Here, you will find any resources that you have saved or uploaded. This could range from saving a music notepad song to saving a composed activity found in a lesson. Resources can be grouped to create lessons. For example, let's look at how to save a week's lesson and then add a creative tool to that lesson so that it can be an assignment in Yumu for when you're absent. I would like to have the friendship song in Unit 3, Week 1 of Grade 3 added to my lessons. I go to this lesson and click on Plus My Lessons. You can see that there is a notification that it was added to my lessons. I will now create this Music Explorer practice resource to add to my resources. I will do this by going to the Creative Tools, clicking on Recorder, clicking on Music Explorer for Recorder Descant, clicking on BAG, clicking on Funk Style and Slow, and clicking on Rhythm Notation. I now click on File, Save a Copy, title it Test Group MFE1, and click Save. I go to My Workspace, My Resources. There is the new file, and click on Plus Lessons and add it to the friendship song. Save and close. When in Yumu as a student, I log in, I can click around the lesson, and these holes will fill up as I complete the lesson. Plus, if the teacher adds something to this lesson during class while the student is using it, the student's screen will automatically update. Creating units. In the same way as resources can be grouped into lessons, lessons can be grouped into units from the My Workspace, My Lesson, or My Units pages. What about that sub I was talking about earlier? What do you do when you have a sub? Well, it's so great because you can create a student group called subplans. Add a person to it that can be called Music Substitute Teacher. Then create a login. Assign the lessons or units to that group that will be covered while you are away by the substitute. When you are away, give the sub the Yumu login for this group so that they can access your sub content. This is so especially helpful for your younger grades as they would probably not be logging in on individual devices while you're away. But your sub can log in on a teacher device, access the lesson, and present it to the class. Remember that when you need assistance with Yumu, you can click at the top of the screen and access the guide, or see Yumu as your students do. Plus, if you created your students' logins from scratch but wanted to share the link with them to log in, you can easily give them this link in the learning management system that you're using. MusicFirst Elementary has created a wonderful and an intuitive way for you and your students to access their content with the Workspace and Yumu. Try it out today.